It sucks when you buy a service only to find out that there was a cheaper, a faster, or in some cases a straight-up better option available for the same price. And if you've ever used Bluehost or GoDaddy as your hosting provider, you know exactly what it feels like. That's why I tried over 20 web hosting companies last year alone, so now you don't have to. Of course, with web hosting, a lot comes down to preference and specific needs. For some plans, might be an overkill for your business, or you might simply prioritize different features. That's why I'm going to start with some basic recommendations that will make your web hosting decisions easier and better just by knowing 3 key elements. Then, I won't just recommend you a generic brand name, I'll go over the specific hosting plans you should choose in 3 price ranges: free to $5, $10 to $20, and $20 and up. Finally, I'll tell you what to avoid so you don't end up sad, regretful, and fighting with the support team for a refund in your free time. The most important thing when it comes down to any web hosting service is, well, the server. How good is the hardware, how good is the software, and how many of them bad boys do they have around the world? Understand the server and you'll understand what type of provider you're dealing with. To illustrate my point, here's a speed chart comparing the loading time of the cheapest plan of every web hosting provider I currently have available. Why is it so different? Server hardware and software. For software, you want to look for providers that use LiteSpeed servers. Because of the 3 most popular solutions on the market right now, LiteSpeed is by far the fastest, and even has additional free tools that you can use to make your site faster for free. But they're only available if your server runs on LiteSpeed software. For hardware, ideally you want providers that use NVMe storage instead of SSD or, God forbid, mechanical hard drives. The reasoning? Again, NVMe storage is 7 times faster than SSD and a crazy 35 times faster than HDD. The faster your server reads and writes files, the faster and more enjoyable is it to work with. Finally, take a look at how many servers they have around the world. If they only offer hosting in the United States and your visitors are from Singapore, Denmark, or India, it will take additional physical time for the information to travel back and forth, making your website seem slow. Ideally, you want the provider to have servers as close as possible to your customer base, or better yet, all around the world. Exhibit B. Here's the same chart arranged by loading speed. And here are the providers that run on LiteSpeed and NVMe storage. Yeah, the difference in speed is unreal, yet the pricing is even more surprising. So, now last year, just like every year, I did look at Hostinger, and normally, Hostinger is my go-to recommendation on the channel for anyone. Why is this? Well, typically Hostinger is what I call the good enough provider. They're easy enough to use and create websites like this, or even this, yeah, fancy, in less than 20 minutes with minimal technical skill. They're fast enough so your website will load just fine, and there's enough support to get you through the technical difficulties if you aren't confident in your technical abilities. Now, I'm specifically talking about their shared web hosting plans, because while they do have different types of web hosting available, I feel that everything apart from their web hosting packages are not the flagship value products that Hostinger is best at. Now, looking back at my list, Hostinger offers LiteSpeed servers, NVMe storage, and plenty of data centers around the world. I feel like their web hosting plans are currently the easiest to use on the market. They include absolutely everything you need to get started, and they start at just $2.69 a month for a bare bones version, or $3.59 for a slightly more powerful plan that can handle more users on your site at the same time. Here's a handy chart to showcase how much more resources you're getting with each of these basic plans. For a bit of context, imagine one user, on average, takes up around 7 megabytes of RAM, so you can theoretically host around this number of people on your site at the same time before running out of resources and running into some serious performance issues. And obviously, you can freely upgrade or downgrade between these plans throughout your subscription period. No problems at all. But this is where it gets interesting though, because Hostinger is a provider that's best utilized if you have never created a website before. This means their biggest upside is their biggest downside. Everything you need for a website comes bundled together, whether you like it or not. And this can cause some problems since you're paying for more than just web hosting. For example, if you're a tech-savvy user, you can set up a virtual private server for $2.99 from A2 Hosting, which outperforms Hostinger's Cloud Starter Plan for $9.99. Now, I know what you're thinking. Emit, why are you recommending Hostinger if it's so slow? Well, then don't even get me started on the fact that this $2.99 VPS from A2 Hosting also outperforms Hostinger's Cloud Enterprise for $29.99. Because you're definitely not gonna like that. In reality, the point I'm trying to make is since Hostinger is a one-stop shop, they include a domain name, website hosting, website backups, SSL certificates, email services, 24/7 support, a CDN, a drag-and-drop website builder, virus protection, and a control panel. The VPS I've compared it to only charges you for the web hosting, and it looks like this. You don't get anything else included in the bundle. So every time you pay for Hostinger, you're paying for the whole bundle, even the things you might already have and don't like or even use. This is the reason I say their cheaper plans are the better flagship value product, as you get the same exact extras in the more expensive plans, but you simply pay more for the same thing. However, by going for the business plan and paying a one-time payment of $172, this is by the way using my discount code for 10% off that you can find in the description down below, you'll be set for 4 years in advance. And if we compare this with similarly priced options from other shared web hosting providers, I think it's clear why I find Hostinger to be the winner in the up to $5 range. But if you never created a website before, I think there's a better option for you. And it's completely free. WebHostMost allows you to use professional web hosting services that aren't garbage. Yeah, I know, very surprising. The only limit is you have to make do with 125 megabytes of storage space, which isn't a lot, but if you're smart in the way you do things, it's enough to make websites like this. WebHostMost offers excellent uptime and speed even with the free plans, because again, they utilize LiteSpeed servers, offer NVMe storage, and have data centers in the US, Europe, and India. Of course, I did dig deep into their terms of service, because I'm not stupid, and even contacted their CEO, because I am suspicious of free stuff on the internet, especially since there are no ads featured on your free website, and you do not need to use a credit card to sign up. From everything I was able to gather about the company, the people behind it, and from 6 months of testing, it checks out, it's legit. It's a great dip your toes product to understand if you want to build a site yourself or hire someone to do it for you. Do not pay more than $5 per month on web hosting when you're just starting out. That's my general rule of thumb that I recommend to everyone. But that rule goes straight out the window when we're talking about e-commerce. The $10 to $20 range is generally the starting price for a good e-commerce option, as well as plans you should upgrade to if you're seeing spikes of more than 500 people on your site at any given moment. Why 500? Well, here's what happens when I send over 1,000 bots to a website hosted on my Hostinger business plan to wreak havoc for 10 minutes. Yeah, the site crashed. Sure, it's just a few minutes of downtime here and there, but it's not stable anymore. The 500 simultaneous users take up all of the available RAM and the website goes down, so we need more RAM. My favorite providers in the $10 to $20 range are A2 Hosting and InterServer. A2 Hosting has a great value plan for $11.99 called the Run Plan. You can find it through my link in the description or by going into their managed WordPress hosting options. What sets it apart from the competition in a similar price range, you might ask? Again, it's server hardware. I mean, these are servers we're talking about. It's always going to be server hardware. For the Run plan, A2 Hosting is specifically using AMD EPYC 7282 CPUs, released in late 2019. If we compare it against something like WPX, which is almost twice the price and claims to be the world's fastest hosting, their plans run on Intel Xeon Gold 6312U CPUs. This means A2 Hosting offers around 6.3% faster single-thread performance. And this doesn't mean that WPX is bad. No, they're using good hardware. They're just more expensive than A2. But if we add something like Bluehost with their $745 a month e-commerce plan to this chart, you can see how far ahead the WPX and A2 Hosting are, and why there's such a large difference between providers in terms of quality and performance, even though the price isn't all that different. So, coming in at quite a low price and better performance than most competitors even in the $15 to $20 range, that's why I believe A2 Hosting has such a good deal here. The quality of hardware you're getting versus the price you're paying for it, the ratio is great. And like the previous suggestions, they also use NVMe storage paired with LiteSpeed for some quite affordable and seriously fast web hosting. Of course, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. The only bad parts about this plan are: 1. The $11.99 price is only for your first 3 years and you have to pay upfront, so it's $431 for the first 3 years, and then it's $899 for the 3 years after that, making the average price $18.50 over a 6-year period. And 2, it's for one website only if you go with the Run plan, which is the best value in my opinion. But absolutely everything else, we good. And we're really good. I mean, I really didn't have many complaints. I have been specifically using this plan for 12 months now, and during the 12 months period, the biggest downtime I experienced was just 40 minutes. Everything else was quite rare events of several minutes of downtime here and there. All in all, less than 2 hours of downtime in 12 months, that's 99.98% uptime. Pretty much as close to 100 as you can get. The interface is easy to use. I was able to create my website within an hour of purchase, and most of that time was spent looking at loading bars because A2 Hosting automates a lot of the setup process for you. And the last reason why I value A2 Hosting over any other competition is the fact that A2 Hosting offers phone support in most of the world depending on the language that you're speaking. While I personally like to use the 24/7 live chat support, I know there are plenty of people that prefer phones. So get A2 Hosting over Hostinger or WebHostMost if you plan to do any e-commerce whatsoever, or your website has passed the 500 simultaneous users mark, because you will need the 4 GB of RAM that A2 Hosting is offering to guarantee smooth operation for more than 500 users at a time. However, I do understand that A2 Hosting gets more expensive as time goes on, and some people simply prefer stable monthly pricing instead of a large upfront payment. Or maybe the 4 GB of RAM that this plan is offering is still not enough for you and you want more resources for a good price. That's why I have my second recommendation in this tier, InterServer and their Boost 4 plan that comes in at $19.95 if you pay monthly. And you can pay monthly, there is no need to prepay for a large amount of time upfront. It offers 8 GB of RAM, this is the most out of any provider we talked about so far, so it's capable of massive website loads. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of users daily. And while it doesn't have quite as powerful of a CPU as A2 Hosting does, it does offer twice as many cores, essentially doubling your available power. 8 GB of RAM and 4 CPU cores with a LiteSpeed server go a long way in offering excellent website speed at higher loads. While A2 Hosting is faster within certain user counts, InterServer is able to keep the speed within reason at far higher user capacity. Pair this with their fair pricing, which can go down to $16 a month if you prepay for 3 years, but you shouldn't, because the power of InterServer is in its flexibility, and if you plan to prepay, just get A2 Hosting instead. However, do keep in mind that 1. InterServer only offers servers in the United States, so international users kinda get shafted here due to travel time. I would recommend InterServer to US-based websites only. And 2, the control panel is a bit outdated. It's definitely harder to use and navigate than other solutions on the market, but the performance to price ratio definitely makes up for it. It's not what I call a beginner host, but I have made several tutorials and quick start guides so you can get started the easy way. Okay, I'll let you in on a secret now. The way web hosting prices work is this. If you have a lot of skill, you can achieve good results for cheap. If you have no skill, it will take you a lot of money to achieve the same result. There's simply no way around it. So far, for every single web hosting provider I've recommended, I've assumed you have little to no server management knowledge, so we bypass that by paying more for automatically configured and managed servers, which cost more. At the $20+ range, you basically have 2 choices. Choice 1, almost infinitely scalable, relatively cheap solutions from Amazon, Google, or Microsoft that will require a specialized person or team to manage. These solutions are used by giants like Spotify, Netflix, Twitch, Facebook, etc. It's the best you can get. And they pretty much grow infinitely with the demand of your business. But doing even basic stuff is quite complicated. You have tutorials on YouTube that span 15 hours or playlists like 70 videos just to grasp the very basic of one of these platforms. Choice 2. Infinitely scalable, quite expensive, but very easy to use solution like Scala hosting. You can manage these solutions yourself, but if you ever get an IT department, they'll have access and the tools necessary to do custom work as well. Think of it like buying a pre-built computer where you just need to push a button and it works. If you want to upgrade, someone will come to your house and swap out the parts. If something breaks, you get support and you're never responsible, you're just the user. Versus selecting parts and building the computer yourself that you can upgrade at any time, but you don't get any support and you have to manage it all yourself. And if something breaks, well, that's your fault. Deal with it any way you know how to. Scala hosting is that managed solution that starts at $26.95 for the basic package, but this is the real deal. These plans come with Intel Xeon Gold 644Y processors, which are fast, even by A2 hosting or WPX standards. You get a dedicated IP address, meaning you're the only person that has this IP address, giving your business a unique identity and reducing the chances of your business emails landing in the spam folder due to shared IP spam. Scala hosting plans are consistently some of the fastest web hosting available, and they are capable of handling extremely large user data volume. Basically, you don't need to switch plans, ever. You'll always have your usage displayed and you will be able to simply add more resources without switching plans. You will be hosted on a redundant network, meaning if your server experiences an outage, the redundancy will take effect to keep your website online at all times. And you'll have full control over your server, meaning you can use whatever you want. LiteSpeed, Apache, NGINX, everything is open for business and you even have root access. You'll be able to host more than just websites like company apps, email servers, customer management software, etc. It's free game. You can go for as much as 128 GB of RAM with 24 core CPUs for $3,000 a year, or for as little as 2 cores and 4 GB of RAM for just $500 a year. As you can see, Scala provides a lot better pricing if you go for powerful plans that require a lot of resources. That's why I recommend you use this if you want to future-proof your business and have Scala pretty much take care of your IT needs. If you can afford it, there's no one better solution. However, there are plenty of companies that are worse. A lot worse. In general, the more marketing for a company you see, the worse it is. There are plenty of hosting companies that have bought their servers in like 2009 and have spent the past 15 years just marketing their outdated crap. Since they know their servers perform like garbage anyway, they oversell them and hope people who bought them will simply not use the server to their fullest potential or not use it at all, just sitting there, empty. In my experience, these corporate giants that offer the worst price-to-performance ratio imaginable are Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy, and Namecheap. Like every single test I do, these companies consistently score the lowest, and they're not even cheap. On the other hand, we have companies that do offer good performance for way too much money, and they kinda lock you into their service, meaning you can never take your website files and host them somewhere else. It's literally impossible. So as soon as you stop paying, your website dies forever. While with traditional hosting, you own your website. You can pack up your files and move servers anytime you want. This category includes easy-to-use platforms like Wix, Squarespace, and Shopify. Sadly, their business model relies on people who don't really know that $20 to $30 a month is a lot for website hosting. As we talked about already, you can get professional, business-grade stuff with crazy good security and features for that kind of money instead of a basic plan. If you skip to this part of the video, I do recommend you watch the rest of it because you are missing some critical information, but here's a quick chart detailing and summarizing the choices I recommend. If you're a first-time website owner or builder and have no idea what you're doing before buying, feel free to use the free tier of WebHostMost and test stuff out. It's on par with paid options, you just have to not go overboard with the size of your website and stick to the 125 megabyte limit. For 80% of you watching, Hostinger and their business plan is the best package $3.59 a month can buy. Good software, good hardware, all of the features you need, and it's easy to use. This plan performs the best until you start hitting 500 people on your site at all times. For more than that, you'll need more power. And A2 Hosting can give you that power. Want to do e-commerce or want a faster website than most people on the internet have? A2 Hosting and their run plan for $11.99 is what you're looking for. It's a straight-up upgrade to Hostinger in every single way. But make sure you actually need the 2 CPU cores and 4 GB of RAM, otherwise you're just overpaying. And on the subject of money, if you don't want to pay a large sum upfront for like 4 or 3 years, and you'd much rather pay a smaller amount each month instead, well, then InterServer and their $19.95 Boost 4 plan is your best friend. It's an absolute beast when it comes to performance, you get plenty of resources to work with, and best of all, it's monthly payments. Cancel anytime if you're done with your project and you will not be charged anymore. And finally, a Scala hosting build-it-yourself plan or any of their pre-made cloud hosting ones are enterprise-level solutions that are the perfect balance. Newest hardware, superb security, and business-oriented features. It's pretty much infinitely scalable to grow together with your business because you can add additional resources at any point in time. It's easy to use, the fastest solution on the market, but it's a bit pricey. And now you have the knowledge to host your website. So make sure to use the links in the description to get discounts, and after you're done, come back. I have plenty of tutorials showcasing how to get started on any of these providers. Good luck!